Hi, in this video I'm going to be doing a comparison between Japan and Europe, and yes, before you come for me, I am aware that Europe is not a single country, so I'm doing this comparison from at least 6 or 7 European countries that we've been to, which sometimes I find a bit similar. Like, let's say Denmark and Sweden were a bit too similar, Italy and Spain, yeah, similar. So anyways, I'm going to do a comparison from my experience. So which one I found not better per se, but just the things that were different, like going to Europe or going to Asia, in this case going to Japan. So I'm going to be doing that. So the first thing that I'm going to compare is just how easy it was to get a visa. I am Kenyan, born and bred here, so most of these places that I go to or I've gone to, I need a visa. And most of the European countries, actually all of the European countries, which I think are 7 or 8 now that I've gone to, I've needed a visa. I didn't need a visa, I think, to go to South Africa because of course, and Seychelles, we needed something, yeah, to fill out. So, but the ease of getting a Japanese visa, first of all, the price was way cheaper than getting a Schengen visa, which I thought was really cool. I paid 2,800 shillings for the Japanese visa, and on top of that, just the time it took me to get, it took me exactly 1 week to get the Japanese visa, as opposed to the Schengen visa that I have to wait for 2 weeks. That's what at least they say on paper, but most of the times, yes, I go over 2 weeks. I get it within, like, let's say 3 weeks. So yes, the ease of getting the visa and just how quickly the appointment at the Japanese embassy in Kenya was. I was able to get an appointment quickly. Actually, there were no appointments. I collected my documents and then showed up, and within 10 minutes I had submitted my application, and then went home. After a week they called me, and then you pay for the visa fee after you get the visa. I'm not sure what happens if you're denied, because of course I was not denied. If you've ever been denied a Japanese visa, let me know whether you pay, or let us know in the comment section whether you paid for that as well. But I paid the 2,800 shillings, which is an equivalent of around 24-25 USD after I had gotten a visa. So hands down, getting a Japanese visa is way easier than getting any of the European Schengen visa situations. So the other thing that I found, the other thing that I'm going to compare is the smoking. Let me tell you, I didn't know how much the world was smoking until I went to Europe. I think Kenyans smoke less. I am not sure, because I know cigarettes are heavily taxed in Kenya, so they are a bit pricey. I don't know whether that's the reason or maybe the culture. Kenyans, if you're watching, let me know why do you guys think Kenyans are smoking less? Yes, in Kenya it's so rare. I'd go even for months without seeing someone smoking on the streets. But in Europe, I remember in Italy, and the reason I'm noticing this is because I'm super allergic to the smoke, the smell of smoke. Yeah, so every time I smell someone smoking, I get a headache right away. So that's why for me it's so important that, yeah, people are not smoking as much. But I understand it's a lifestyle thing, everyone to each their own. But in Japan as well, I didn't see a lot of people smoking on the street. I don't know whether it's a rule or something, but I've seen like special places, like a box in the train stations, for example, like I'm calling it a box because it was such a small room for people to smoke. It's a smoking room. So I saw that a lot in Japan. So I didn't see as much smoking on the street. If I saw any, I can't even remember if I saw any. So I thought that was really cool. The food in Europe mostly is close to what we will eat in Kenya, in terms of the bread, the wheat, the cheese, again, depending, but I'm speaking what we eat in my family. I'm not saying for every Kenyan, but for me, I think because of also being in intercultural marriage, also we eat a lot of a mix of Kenya and European food. So the food for me is not as strange in Europe, but the food in Japan was a bit different. A lot of seafood and a lot of miso soup to start the food. So the food was different, and I don't know, the fruits, as I said in the previous video, the fruits were a bit pricey. So yes, I think that was a difference. When I go to Europe, for example, the fruits are cheaper than in Kenya, because in Kenya some of the fruits have to be imported. For example, apples, peaches are extremely expensive in Kenya. Peaches, anything, apricots, all those fruits that are imported in Kenya are very expensive. But then our local fruits like pineapple, bananas, mangoes, those ones are a bit, cheap. So in Japan, it didn't matter. The apples were expensive, the pineapples were expensive, all the fruits were expensive. So yeah, that was a difference that I noticed. Black people in Japan, I have never seen anywhere else in the world, apart from obviously in Kenya where everybody is black, but I haven't seen anywhere else in the world where black people are so friendly towards each other. Every time I'd pass a black person, you'd see like someone, they would nod, they would say hi. I actually noticed when I did the other video talking about black people, I actually remembered I have a footage when we were coming from Kyoto. We were at, I think, Shibuya, or one of those like busy train station, and this black guy sees me coming, and he's like, I think it's just the coolest thing ever, because the first time I was in Europe, I think I said this in the previous video, I saw a black person and I was smiling because I had not seen a black person in like 2 or 3 days, but they were like cold. So I learned my lesson to not like go smiling at every black person, but Japan has changed that for me. I guess it was every single black person I saw was nice, friendly, and trying to say hi. So I found that really cool. The other thing I'm going to talk about is the shopping. So shopping, I found it a bit pricey compared to Europe, and I'm talking clothes shopping. It was a bit pricey for me. I go to just I'm not an, what am I going to say? I'm not luxury shopper. So I'm not talking about luxury brand here. I'm talking Zara and just the local store that people have. So I found Zara Tokyo a bit pricey compared to Zara I've gone to Zara Spain, I've gone to Zara Greece, I've gone to Zara Copenhagen, and I found Zara Tokyo was, I think, the most expensive for me in that list. Electronics as well, I don't know how to compare that because I haven't bought electronics anywhere else, but I think there is a variety. That's the only thing I'd say about electronics in Tokyo. There is a variety. There is this shopping complex we went to. I'm going to put it in the description, so make sure you check it out. If you're going to Tokyo, there is this shopping complex with about 9 floors, and they were all selling electronics, anything from tripods, cameras, clocks, fridges. I found that super cool. If I were living in Tokyo, I know I would have a blast shopping. So yes, the price of travel, I'm going to do a different video doing the price breakdown for how much we spent in the 3 weeks that we were in Japan, but I'm going to tell you, this is probably the most expensive trip we've made. So it was a bit pricey, but I'm going to also say that maybe the price was a bit higher because we did last minute booking of our flights. We went to Japan at the end of June when the Qatar airbase was bombed. So our flights from Qatar were cancelled and we had to book, I think 2 days before the trip, that's when we had to book another flight. So we booked through Dubai, and so the price is obviously, the closer you book towards the date of departure, the more expensive. So that one probably made the trip a bit more expensive, but just in general, I think yes, being in Japan was a bit more pricey than being in Europe for us. And then the jet lag. So when we fly to Europe, of course we fly from Nairobi to 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 all those countries that I'm mentioning. So the time difference is usually an hour or two, so there's not anything, you just get tired and then okay, good. But the jet lag, I used to think that thing is cute because Dennis would go from US and to Nairobi, and I was like, oh, I can't wait until I experience the jet lag. Let me tell you, if you're watching this and you've never experienced it, you don't want to experience it. It is not cute. It is probably the worst thing I've had to experience in my travel. You get there, your brain is sleeping during the day, and then you come back home and you take 2 more weeks to recover from it. So yes, the jet lag was a bit nightmarish for me. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the locals' friendliness. In general, I think Japanese are more friendly and more, I don't know whether to say open and receptive to people, but I did find Japanese a bit more friendly than most part of Europe. Even in their customer care, customer service, I think not Tokyo, because even Kyoto was good, but Japan customer care, I haven't seen anything like that. I used to think Kenya has good customer care until I went to Japan. Japanese people will go out of their way to just serve you a cup of coffee, for example, or like a cup of matcha. One time I went to buy a matcha and this guy was so nice. I had like a minute to buy that matcha, and sure enough, he did it within a minute and I was able to get back to my tour bus on time. So the friendliness of the Japanese people, it's like nothing else that I've seen. I hope you guys are enjoying these Japanese videos that I'm doing. Please, if you're doing so, make sure you like it so you can reach more people, and also support my channel, and make sure you subscribe so you can see all the price breakdown and all the videos that I'll be making. And if you're going to Japan, make sure you enjoy, because that, I'll say, is a chance of a lifetime to just get to Japan. It was so much fun. Make sure you book as many activities as you can. I'm going to be doing a video on the different things that you can do in Japan, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.